This is nectarine tree. This tree was in pot, this big, which is a 40-liter pot. And what I did was I put the tree in the ground now. The reason, it was giving the fruit, however it wasn't growing well. If you look at the other nectarine tree I got, look at the size of the stem. Obviously this is much older, maybe 2 years older than this tree. Even though the tree was giving the fruit, I thought it's a good idea to give more room for the root growth so that I can have a better growth of the tree and also good harvest. That's the reason I put this nectarine tree in the ground. Until this November, it was in the pot. This is the fig tree. This year I had only a couple of fruits, and this was in a small pot. This is 35-liter pot, and I moved this into this big pot, which is 110-liter pot, almost 3 times of the old pot. Hopefully the root system will extend now and grow better, and the plant will be more healthy, and I'll have a good harvest. And I added bone meal for root growth, which is phosphorus content, and I do use it on all fruit trees during the end of November. And also I added fish blood bone, which is a balanced fertilizer, in this pot. This is my cherry tree. This tree was also in a pot, which is 35-liter pot. Now I put it in the ground. Last year I had a fruit. Unfortunately I didn't cover the plant with the net. The birds ate all the fruit. So this year my plan is to cover properly so that I can have some fruit out of this plant. This is 4-year-old plant, and even though it was in pot, it was really growing well, but pot was restricting the growth of the roots. That's the reason why I thought of putting it in the ground and see what will be the difference. This is another cherry tree. This is the second year. I only planted this March, which is 2024 March, but the plant was delivered in 2023 October. It was inside the greenhouse in a small tiny supplied pot, and I put it in a big 110 liters pot in the month of March of 2024. This particular pot will be moved next to this cherry tree, and I also got another cherry tree in the ground. You can see that's my cherry tree, and my plan is to put the pot next to these 2 cherry trees and cover with the board net, which is this one. It's a bit expensive and big holes, so the birds can't get through it. These are the 3 cherry trees I must cover before they start fruiting. The mistake, as I mentioned, last year I didn't cover. All the fruit were eaten by the birds. This is the Victorian plum tree. They said it's a dwarf variety, but look at the height. It's already 8 feet tall, and it was in a small tiny pot of 35-liter size. Now I moved it to ground by end of November, and I don't think I'll get a fruit even in 2025. but in future I will have some fruit. I don't know when, maybe 3 years down the line. The root system should be established properly because it's in the ground now, and I should prune in case if I get any branches this year, and hopefully it will start regrowing properly from April onwards. This is one of my apple tree, 2-year-old, and this is my second apple tree, 2-year-old. These are in 110-liter pot, the 2 big pots, and when I bought it, they were described as a dwarf variety, and these 2 trees will go to this area when I harvest my kale. I finish my kale in February or March time. Then I'll bring those 2 pots here because I got plenty of place here, so that all my fruit trees have good enough space in between them, so that I can walk between the trees properly without any issues, and also I can grow something underneath as well. So that's the plan for these 2 apple trees. I don't want to prune them because they are only 2-year-old and they don't have too much to prune, and they are looking good so far, no issues found. However, I got some black aphids, and because of this cold weather they were disappeared last week or so. This is my pear tree. It was well established this year. Again, this is 2-year-old. I got it last year, and again this is grafted dwarf variety pear tree, and I planted in 110 liters pot, a big pot. I added some bone meal and fish blood bone fertilizers to this, and this can stay as is here because it's not disturbing any of the pots, and also there is a good enough space between my cherry tree, which will be covered with the net, and my medlar tree. So this can stay as is. I don't think it's gonna grow that big as per the description when I bought it. Hopefully not this year. When I say this year, 2025, from April onwards, when tree starts going. In 2 years time, I would say in 2026, I'll have some pear from this tree.